Welcome back, everybody. Hot Mic rolls on a busy Thursday. We're really excited. Coming up next week here on Extra, first time you're going to see it is the Landon's Light Volleyball Invite. You'll see it live here on Extra. That's the schedule of games you see on our screen. Starts at 1:30 with Shanley and Davies, followed by Horace and North. West Fargo and Moorhead start the evening session at 5:30, and then Cheyenne and South at 7:30. That's not the cool part. The cool part is it's outdoors in West Fargo at the Lights. And here to talk about Julie Christianson from Landon's Light and Ryan Kill as well, who've been working on this. I found out off air for about the better part of 3 years. Guys, thanks for coming in. This is really neat. We're super pumped to be part of this. Julie, tell me about the genesis of this. How did this come about?
Yeah, Ryan and his dad crew from Cheyenne saw the Nebraska game happen a few years ago, and, light bulbs went off. And he can probably tell more from behind-the-scenes stories, but, over the course of that time, this idea just didn't die. And on his end, it's like, how do we make this work? How do we make this go? And late spring last year, Ryan approached us. He's an awesome board member we have at Landon's Light, and he's like, hey, how would Landon's Light like to take this on and produce this event and bring it to the community? So it is more of a fundraiser and a mission-based event than just some volleyball games. And we sat there and we were like, okay, yeah, this is going to be a lot of work. This is going to be, but this will be fun. And we're just truly honored. And it's, considering this would have been Landon's senior year, considering what our mission stands for, it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, the stars were just aligning. So here we are, a few days away, and we just can't wait.
All right, so did you see it on television, or did you go to the outdoor volleyball game that Nebraska won a couple years ago?
Yeah, watched it in my living room with my daughter. I think everybody on the volleyball team was watching it because it was obviously
93,000 people were there.
Over 90 grand. Yeah. I mean, and like I said, you could almost feel the electricity and stuff through the TV when you're watching it. And then went to the next volleyball game with the dads. Kind of said, you guys watched that last night? That was incredible.
Yeah.
Like, why aren't we doing something like that here? It would be great. We have the facility, which is fantastic. The passion around volleyball in the FN community is through the roof. So through a lot of work, and it's kind of been a labor of love, though, to make sure that this happened. Now we're sitting less than a week out from an absolutely amazing event.
Were there fits and starts to it, or just describe okay, it's one thing to have an idea. It's another thing to actually enact it. So describe that of going from idea to actual making this happen.
Yeah. So selfishly, if this was going to happen, I wanted to make sure that Cheyenne was part of it because I have a senior daughter that's playing this year. So I approached the AD and the coach out there first and kind of pitched the idea. Would this be something that you'd be interested in? And right away, this would be an amazing thing to be part of. From there, it was just kind of making sure that the high school league was going to be on board, and then to make sure that the player safety was of the utmost concern. So they said, hey, we'll be on board. We got to make sure this is going to be a fair playing field. Player safety has to be top of mind. So keep us posted if you guys have that locked down, and then we'll approach other schools. So
the venue part of it, did you have other ones in mind, or were the Lights always like this? We got to keep, because obviously you're in West Fargo, you want to go there.
Yeah, I think that's kind of one of the things where Landon's always kind of been sprinkled in a lot of this. You have the Lights out in West Fargo, and you have Landon's statue out there. This would have been his senior year. So it kind of felt like all of the dominoes were kind of falling in line. So when we approached them and said, hey, we're trying to bring this up with the West Fargo schools, they were on board right away. Hey, let's promote West Fargo. Let's promote these amazing athletes.
Julie, when did you get wind of this? That this was something that they were talking about?
Well, you hear rumblings throughout the last, I'd say, year or so. But we actually had a strikeout cancer baseball game, and Ryan came up, and he's to me and Travis, Landon's dad, and he's like, hey, I got an idea for you. And he shared it, and from that was probably, I'd say, in May. Yep. And come mid-June, we hit the ground running, and like Ryan said, getting the court secured and figuring out what that was going to look like. Yeah. That we could get it delivered in time, all of the things. We had wonderful sponsors come in to help us support the purchase of that. It's 60 feet by 90 feet, so it's not small.
Yeah.
And so we just started running, and we haven't stopped since.
So we just showed video up of on your Facebook page of the court of having it. So there are so many logistical questions that I wouldn't even think of, like getting a court. Yeah. Like, where do you go about doing that? How do you go about doing that?
Yeah. Ryan connected with Deckmasters here in town, and Josh and his team are simply amazing. And, they love the idea. They came in and said, we want to be part of this. We want to help support it. Yeah. And so we just started planning, and we obviously going to the court vendors and then determining how do we get this thing striped and the logos painted. And, I want to shout out Deckmasters because
Yep.
last week on Thursday, they set that court up in their warehouse
Yeah.
in West Fargo.
That's the video we saw, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And painted the entire thing and let it dry over the weekend.
Wow.
They had 2 different rooms full of stuff. Their logo painter was simply amazing, meticulous. So, so that was probably one of the biggest stressors to make sure that it arrives in time. And then the volleyball system itself as well, that we have for the netting. And
So Ryan, when you get Shanley wants to be on board, did it spread like wildfire, or did you have to do some arm twisting for the other schools to say, hey, we want to be part of this? How did that generate?
Yeah, so when we originally were planning it, when we talked with the Lights, we said if we bring the 3 West Fargo schools in, who are their opponents going to be? And it just kind of lined up again that they were playing other schools from the Fargo-Moorhead area. And then a couple of the Shanley parents and Davies parents had reached out because we play club ball with them.
Yep.
And said, would there be any way that we could be a part of this? And I brought it to Landon's the board, and they said, the more the merrier. If we can make the schedule work, we want to promote all of these athletes because, they're against each other right now, but they play together during club. But their passion for volleyball and each other and trying to promote their well-being and their success, it's all the way through that. So our goal now is to see what we can do to expand this. Since the news has gotten out, we've had other schools that have reached out from outside the area.
Wow, okay.
How to be part of this next year. Our internal conversations of
We got a multi-day event coming here, you thinking?
I'm hoping we can do that. I would love to see some Class B schools come in. I come from an extremely small town. I know some of these small towns, the entire town would close down and come to something like this. So we think this is the first year of something that's going to be a legacy.
That's really neat. Admission is minimum cash only donation, $15 for adults, $5 for students, and children 6 and under are free. And again, you can watch all the matches beginning at 1:30 here on Extra. We'll stream it on WDAY Plus and Inforum.com. Are these conference games too? Are these is that
DC
okay?
Games,
All right, so there you go.
Games.
Yep. So there's a lot on the line here, but these girls are really excited.
Yep.
So it's Childhood Cancer Awareness Month, Julie, which this double the impact of this because I vividly remember at Landon's story that how much does this hammer home more this particular month with this happening?
Yeah, it really brings more light to it almost feels like more and more kids are getting diagnosed with cancer every single year. When you think up to 40 new pediatric cases just in our market alone going through Roger Maris, and it really just helps us come together as a community, come together and support the families. At the end of each game, we are actually highlighting a family we've served through our mission, which we feel really grateful for because some of these kids have gone on a journey that nobody expects to endure. One of the kids we've served is actually playing on the court this week. So that's going to be really, really extremely special. So, it really is just a way for us to just continue to say, we're here to help the kids. We're here to put more light back into this community, serving the families that deserve it, bringing, more awareness to these amazing athletes who do great good and off the court. They are just seriously amazing students, amazing human beings. And so we're really excited and can't wait.
It didn't hit me till you said it would be his senior year. And I remember the first time I met him was at a Bison basketball game, of course, a year before I think he passed. And just the impact that night had with all of his buddies there and how big it began. Man, I remember Dave wearing the shirt you're wearing at the NCAA basketball tournament when they're playing Duke. And Jim Nance is talking about it on CBS that particular night. His parents have been so outward with this in an area. Now I'm a dad of a 6-year-old that I don't know how, and I'm in the constant spotlight, how much that I would embrace that. And they have this entire time, which is remarkable to me.
Yeah. They talk often about how, with Landon having the idea and the sharing the vision of the foundation with his parents before he passed and having this be a journey of healing for them, being able to support the other families we serve and be able to authentically say, I get where you're coming from. They've walked a similar road. And so, it's just amazing how this foundation has grown over the past almost 6 years. And we look so forward to the future and the continued impact we can have.
Now, I was joking with you off air. Are you staring at the Storm Tracker app here? Have you been doing that for the last week on what the weather could be for Tuesday?
Yeah, I started watching about 9 days ago because then they had the extended forecast.
Yeah.
And then my daughter, who's playing, she's been watching it. The chance of rain bumped up to 35% 3 days ago. So she was freaking out. But right now, weather looks absolutely
beautiful.
perfect.
That's awesome.
Partly cloudy, mid-70s, light wind.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
always say Landon comes through for us.
Yeah,
you know, in everything we do, he's
awesome.
there. So
Yeah. So will you be able to actually enjoy it prior to as being dad, or are you going to be running around like a chicken with your head cut off most of the day here?
My plan is to be on the Landon's late side all day Monday, putting the court together
Yeah.
Tuesday morning. But as of the first serve on 1:30, I'm going into dad mode and cheering mode. Because the competition out there is going to be fantastic. I mean, we have 8 great teams. You're going to see some really, really good matches. Really excited to see the other students that are going to be able to come out and partake in that as well. So it's just going to be a wonderful day to kind of enjoy.
Is there attendance? Why you know what you either can hold or what you can anticipate? Do you have any idea for Tuesday?
Yeah, so we're bringing in some bleachers from Big Lake, and West Fargo Parks is donating some bleachers. So we should have about seating capacity for 1,000.
Okay,
that is
really
what
good.
we're planning. Standing room only as well. You know, we will turn nobody away.
Yeah.
You know, it's just going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have food trucks. Lundy's Ice Cream will be out there. You know, all the restaurants around the light space are supporting this event, and so we just can't wait. It's going to be just so much fun.
I'm really eager to see it like you did. I watched that outdoor, how it looks for us on TV. That it's just a different, you're used to volleyball being indoors first off, in a different setting. That to me, I'm really interested to see how it looks. And then, you know, what you're talking about, what you can do next year going forward, I imagine, right?
Yeah. The visuals of it for the athletes will be different.
Yeah.
Just like when they go and play at the Fargo Dome at State.
Yeah.
It's going to be a different backdrop and stuff like that. But I think they'll get over that hopefully after the first couple balls go over the net.
Exactly.
But yeah, for the future of the event, what this can turn into with the support of not only the volleyball community, but the support for Landon's Light. Yeah, I envision this being something that's going to be a marquee event that teams are going to want to be part of, and maybe an event that travels.
You
We
mentioned
got a lot of good teams on the western part of the state, too.
right. Why not? You mentioned off air just the word of mouth on this. How many people or just have come up to you over the last couple of days say, I didn't even know about this. I'd like to be part of it.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it is amazing. You run into people on the street. You run into people at volleyball games. My daughter plays with Ryan's daughter, and you know, and they're like, oh, I want to volunteer. Or I want to do this. And, you know, and thankfully our volunteer pool, like we killed it. They come in and they show up and they support us. But yeah, you know, it has been, you know, the word is definitely getting
That's
out.
awesome.
And we, you know, I tell everybody that I know because, you know, it is something historic for the state. It has not been done before. And, you know, to be part of that history, you know, just like the people that were at the Nebraska game probably look back and say, that's something I'll never forget. We want the same thing for our fans. We want the same thing for these athletes and coaches so that when they leave, they can't wait for the next year.
Well, there's one thing I know about volleyball parents is how intense they are or enthusiastic they are. And with something like this that not only is obviously about what's happening off the court, on the court, this could be something I imagine could grow, right?
Yeah.
From whatever happens on Tuesday.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one element, too, that we're bringing in is each team has nominated an athlete for a leadership award that represents what Landon stood for when it comes to sports. And so we really hope that when these teams are out there, there's respectful sportsmanship, you know, which there usually is, you know. But, you know, these girls are shining a light on that court that day when they're playing on behalf of Landon's Light in their schools. So we just can't wait.
The city, how do they embrace this knowing, hey, it's the middle of the day, we're going to have this many people? Was that a roadblock at all when you talked to them?
No, the lights was really good.
That's good.
The main thing, obviously, was the scheduling side,
Yeah.
which, again, it kind of just felt like Landon had a hand in it with, okay, looks like we have Tuesday the 9th will actually work. Well, who's playing? All the Fargo and West Fargo teams are playing.
Yeah.
So wild.
What do you have set up
Yeah.
at the venue? We got Brett Michaels coming later in the week.
Yeah.
right,
So
I
we got to
forgot
watch
that.
out for him.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as long as you're out by this time, we have these 3 days that are wide
Right.
open.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of felt like everything fell in line.
That's
Just
so
perfect.
that is wild.
Yeah.
Congratulations, both of you. We're really excited to be part of it, and I'm glad we were able to get the word out. People, from what I hear, watch the show. So hopefully, if they haven't, if they don't know about it, they'll get in touch with you guys who want to be a part of it. But again, we'll throw up our schedule here for people that want to know. These are the games happening starting at 1:30 on Tuesday out at the Lights in West Fargo. Shanley and Davies play the first game. Horace and North follow at 3:30. West Fargo and Moorhead at 5:30. And Cheyenne and South will wrap it up at 7:30. The games are all going to be available on WDAY Extra, on our app, on WDAY Plus, and Inforum.com. Weather is going to be great. I'm just looking at it right now. Looks like 74 on Tuesday, partly cloudy. You can do that. That'll work, right? That'll play.
I think we can do that.
Perfect.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you so
Congratulations and good luck on Tuesday, all right?
Thank you so much.
Julie Christianson and Ryan Kill from Landon's Light joining us here about the first volleyball invitational happening on Tuesday. We'll break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour on Hot Mic right after this.